Hi, this is ASDP ufologist Jody Brown from Arizona, and you are watching Alien Strand Podcast with host Donald Ledesma.
AlienStrand.com, the official website.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Donald Ledesma. Welcome to today's show. Man, it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure. I hope everybody's out there kind of just staying warm, because there's been a lot of activity going on out there, especially with this cold weather. And then now all these fires that are going on. What's going on with that, man? It's first nobody was seeing it in the news, and now it's all over the news. And now it's there's a lot of quiet stuff going on in the background, too. So I don't know. It's been all over the news, and of course, our prayers go out to everybody out there that lost their homes. Nobody wants that, regardless of what it is or whatever. Nobody wants to lose their homes and lose everything. Unfortunately, that's what happened. Now, I've been getting a lot of conflicting information about that. They caught this one guy that actually, they he set about 5 fires, right? Of course, not from this country. They caught him today, and then they've been catching several people out there starting a couple of fires. Why they doing that? I have no idea. I don't know why, and it's just unfortunate that that's happening, but of course, we just need to stay positive in this situation, and let's just move forward, and hopefully everything goes for the better, right? So I hope you guys have been watching and listening to all Alien Strand podcasts out there. I just released an audio one yesterday called UFO News. So go check that out. It's on audio, Patreon, YouTube, and Spotify. You can find it on your Apple Podcasts as well. This is an audio podcast. It's there. And, if you want to listen to it, it's, I talk about the recent UFO activity out there, and with airline pilots and what they what it has to do with Starlink and what they're doing to try to help airline pilots now. So that way it kind of keeps their eyes off the sky and looking at Starlink as it's going across, and other things involved as well, right? So, I had this past podcast called The Fog. Check that out. It's on Patreon. I just released it to all members. So just join. You can even join as a free member, and you'll be able to see this whole podcast. You won't find it here. You won't find it on YouTube. You won't find it anywhere. Only on Patreon. That's where you're going to find that one. All right. So please join Patreon for free. Just download the app. Look for Alien Strand Podcast. You can just join for free and check out this podcast. There's several ones that are only there just for that platform. All right, guys. So you can follow us on YouTube and on Patreon, of course. Really appreciate that. Just follow. Don't forget my book there. You can download it on Kindle. I dropped the price on that, so go download that, and that'll help you do some CE5ing with some frequencies of contact there. All right. And of course, ASDP, Alien Strand Disclosure Project. There's no I in team. We all work together. We all work as a family to help as many people as possible, to know what disclosure really is. And of course, the films, the middle, they've been out already. 1, 2, and 3 is out there on Amazon Prime already. And now you can catch the middle on Fossum TV and the middle part 1. So you can download that app for free. you can watch these movies for free, man. You can't ask for anything better. All right. So I hope you guys are checking it out. I can see you guys starting to come through. I appreciate you guys for watching today. And I really like that people are out there just watching these podcasts because they're very important. I'm going to talk about some important stuff today. I'm going to show you some UFO videos. I'm going to break some down for you, and maybe some extraterrestrials as well. All right. So this is what it's about. Hey, I'm Amy. How you doing? Thank you for watching. It's just one of those things, man. And I just appreciate everybody's doing. Now, hey, if you guys like watching a great painter, watch Amy Niece there. She does some amazing paintings of extraterrestrials and everything of angelic and stuff like that. Watch her paintings. She does them live in the mornings now. I like what you're doing. Keep doing it. And she does an amazing job on that. Just to watch her paint from scratch, man, you do an amazing job. Great kudos there, girl. Keep going. So today I want to talk about, of course, nobody ever talks about it too much because the Nazca the mummies, right? So, and I'm just going to bring that up just a little bit because there was a video that just came out that they actually dissected one of the hands, right? One of the hands of the Nazca mummies. Of course, they had 3 fingers, right? And they actually found tissue that's inside of there, right? And so this is going to be kind of like in Spanish, but the very end's going to be a little English, less than a minute long. Check out this video real quick.
Pues, las huellas digitales.
También viene.
Sí, puedes hacer un acercamiento. Tal vez valdría la pena limpiar un poquito más. Podrás con un cotonete que podamos limpiar esto.
Sí, mejor con foto. Ese mejor con foto.
Dr. McDowell, we take muscle tissue
good.
samples
Good.
from
The elbow.
the articular region.
Let's get some photos of the fingers. Yep.
All right, so they did find muscle properties, actually tissue. Like, I'm not going to say it's human, but it's humanistic, right? So in other words, it's got like muscle, ligaments, things like that. So it's a possibility that this still could be extraterrestrial. I know there was a lot of conflicting evidence out there, or not evidence, but people were saying up there in Mexico that these were parts of different animals and they were putting them together so that way they can sell these mummies. Of course, no. Why did they go through the extent of doing what they did, right? This is the actual Nazca mummy. It's when they were kind of like tridactyl. They were calling them that way, right? And the shapes of them are very strange indeed. This is their hands, their feet, that we were just trying to figure out exactly what these things were when they first started finding them. Now they found multiple mummies of this caliber, the size of like 3 feet and smaller. They found some tiny ones as well. So, and this is the strange part about this dissection that they're doing recently. This is new. So they're doing a brand new dissection because they want to know what kind of tissue is underneath the bones and maybe the lime that was used to preserve the body, right? And this is I'm going to give it's kind of gross, a little gross, but it's going to give you a little bit of a close-ups that there is muscle and there is actual tissue underneath that that white preservative that they used. And I would really like to know what the breakdown is of the ingredients they used to preserve these mummies. And they were all the same color. So I'm thinking it's like a lime or whatever to keep them preserved for a long period of time, right? But as you can see in the picture on the right, there is some sort of muscle tissue there, right? And that's what we're seeing there. And I don't know. It's a strange thing indeed. But the strangeness is not just the way these things are formed, but they actually found metal pieces. Now look at the size of this little mummy. Look at the size of the fingers of this thing. They're tiny. They're freaking tiny. It's a little hand, and they're actually digging out a metal piece out of the top of the hand, right? And that's the picture you're seeing there. It's not AI, hasn't been manipulated in any kind of way. I've actually got that from an article that they had just started dissecting this again. And this is the thing that I'm talking about. about this actual mummy. There's a lot of people out there that have, just they're calling fake. And if it was, why go through this whole process and the details of taking it to the Mexican Congress, showing it out there to as many people as possible, right? And just telling people, hey, these things are real, right? And it's the way to break this down, and because they want to know what these things are, right? And why they're metal pieces inside of these things, right? And are these extraterrestrial? That's the thing. And just by the shapes of the heads and the hands and the feet, I mean, we see these things all the time here now, and they have a lot of similar, characteristics that we're seeing with these extraterrestrials. Now, the ones that I'm showing you here have a little bit more of elongated skull, right? It's very long. Now, I don't know who's out there that has actually seen an extraterrestrial up close. I'm sure there's a couple of you out there. And you might have seen something like this that might have had elongated skull, right? Of course, most of the ones that we see have a rounder and more of an apple shape or a pear shaped head that we're used to seeing, right? Which is going to be this little guy. I don't know if you can see that right there. That. All right. So, compared to that, it just looks so much different, right? And that's what you try to figure out in your head. What is this thing real, or is it something that they did as a, I don't know, maybe just trying to put things together, and maybe a little sacrifice of some sort of, or they were trying to made a religion of some sort, but you never hear anything deep about that. It doesn't really go, and this is in Peru, right? So, it's very desolate out there too. There's a lot of places, a lot of mountains, things like that are that's kind of hard to. It's not like it's a large city or large area. Hey, it might have been thousands of years ago. You never know, right? And and of course they had a lot of of the geoglyphs, right? And what they did in their in but the scope and the size of these things that they did in Peru, for not just for us to see, but for something up from above to see, right? What they were, what the people were about. Of course, monkeys, spiders, and of course, maybe a human being that they're showing them, right? Um, of course, who's watching? Who would be watching from the sky, right? Especially maybe thousands of years ago, or even hundreds of years ago. Nobody was flying, no planes or anything back in the day, right? And so, why would they make these structures as large as they did, and the scale of they did, if these things weren't watching, right? So, and that just kind of brings me to my point that what is the metal thing that they found inside the hand, and is it extraterrestrial or not? That's what I want to know, really, in reality. That's the strangeness of it. And this little article that I'm going to read to you here real quick, it just says that the let's see, well, it just kind of tells you that it's been seen as an eerie new video of revealing the bones, right? Because they're showing you the actual bones now. Before, we never saw that, and now we're starting to see the inside of these things, right? Of course, there is bones. There's metal now underneath, and it says followed by these now dozens of small pellicular specimens, often referred to Nazca tridactyls, right? After the region in Peru where they're believed to have been taken by anomalous local tomb raiders, right? So tomb raiders actually found these things, and it's like, oh, we don't even know what the hell we found, right? But now doctors have claimed that they have removed a light metal implant from the new specimen's palm. And reporter who is working with the medical professionals involved in the investigation told a Daily Mail, right? So the short video, there's a video about this, and it kind of shows what they're doing a little bit up close. But they're pretty much, the video that I showed you a minute ago was showing you that they were fixing to break it down, right? And so it says there was a doctor, Jose Benendez, who devoted his free time to remove the metal. Said it is very complex and a metal alloy that requires special knowledge and techniques to be able to achieve it, right? With such quality and purity, right? So it's whatever that metal is and was implanted in there, even if they did it themselves, it's a pure metal, right? And man, would I like to know what it is. But it's telling you that the element could be aluminum, tin, silver, copper, cadmium, and osmium, right, along similar quantities of percentages, right? So they know that this is what the materials are, and I guess those materials you can find here on Earth, right? And of course, if that stuff has a different property in there that we don't know, that's pretty much going to tell us that it's going to be more off world, and that's just my personal opinions on that. And that's the possibility of that those little aliens, right? If they are alien, and I'm kind of hoping they are, you know what I mean? Because that would be more of a proof that we actually have one physically, right? Instead of thinking about Roswell and all in Area 51 and everything that they did, right, to hide and scare people and kill people and everything, right, just so that way the word wouldn't get out. But what if these things were actually extraterrestrial? What are your thoughts on that? If do you think they're real or they're not? There's a lot of conflicting evidence and stories out there that actually throw it in this direction or in that direction. It's kind of hard for you to believe what it is, but to me, the evidence is going to be the proof of that proof is in the pudding, right? Of what it is. So we will eventually figure out exactly what's inside of there, and you know, if they find bismuth inside of there, I would really freak out if they found bismuth inside of there, because that's what Linda Howe said, that a lot that the material that she got out of her that somebody gave her from a UFO had bismuth in it, and then it had aluminum, and it had all these properties that are inside of that little hand, right? So if it does has bismuth in it, we will know that that's going to be more of an off-world kind of thing. I mean, you can find it, but very small traces of that around the world. Amy says, "Real? I think it is too. It's just kind of hard not to believe it's not, but this has been hiding in the shadows in the background a little bit, right? And we're trying to figure out exactly what these things are and what they want, of course, and where they came from, and them showing something off world or from above, that there's people down there with animals and insects and humans, right? So well, why would they do that, right? And it just kind of gives me the possibilities that these guys are just always watching and always interacting with us human beings, right? And of course, a lot of these are my personal opinions, but of course, what I've researched and the people that I've talked to, and everybody out there that has interacted with these things, know that these things are real and they do exist, right? We know that, and we're not crazy, because I'm not. We wouldn't be showing these things, or you guys wouldn't even be showing them in your paintings, like Amy and other people out there that they have proof of scars, and they show pictures of things that are catching now more and more outside their homes, right? um and like I said before, I believe it's like an awakening moment, right? Once you woke up from this thing, that you start seeing these extraterrestrials more and more. Now, speaking of UFOs, I have this video here that popped up about maybe about a week and a half ago. I was going to throw it on TikTok. We do have a TikTok page, so when you see all my links on this podcast, click on that. It'll take you to our TikTok, all our movies. Anyway, so this video popped out. I think it's in Florida, but somebody was using a night vision camera, and they were able to grab this. Now, I'm going to show you that. Well, I'll show you the video, and then I'll give you my thoughts. Here we go. All right. So as you can see, it's a night vision shot, right, of this craft going over. And if you caught it on time, I don't know if you did or didn't. I'm going to back it up just a little bit. There's an actual plane, right? There's a plane following. It's kind of hard. I'm going to try to find it. Okay, so it's kind of hard to see in the video, but at the very end of that tail end of that video, there's an actual airplane that is following these things, right? And my first impression, maybe AI, right? That's the first thing I thought. Possibly an AI. They shot this with night vision, but then I decided to kind of scope in a little bit closer, And this was what I was grabbing once I zoomed into it a little bit as it was, and I slowed it down, and as you can see, the other craft is going next to it. But then I started noticing, mostly in an AI, you won't see any kind of electronic magnetic fields, and it's kind of hard to see, but you can actually see one there, right? There's an actual electronic magnetic field there, right? And I'll show you in a different spectrum so that way you guys can see it as well. So watch here as I switched it to a different spectrum, and you can almost see it, a little small halo around one of these UFOs. Now they're flying in perfect formation, right? But in the video, there is a plane, and I think I forgot to put it on here to tell you the truth, but there's an actual plane following them in on the tail end of this, right? And once I got into this photo, I was like, you know what? If this is AI, or or a photoshopped kind of deal, then it's going to show, it's going to be too clean, right? Too clean of an image, right? So um, when I started going into the analysis of it, I started using my spectrums, and here you can actually see that there is there's a disturbance, right? And there's an energy field around this craft as it's going, as it's flying by. So when I took the stills of it, you can actually see the disturbance around the craft. Now here again is a closer look at the disturbance around this UFO craft, right? So which is telling me that this is not AI, that this is an actual craft that is flying by, because you can see the disturbances as it's going, as it kind of, if you look around this saucer shaped craft, right? That frequency is just everywhere around this thing. And you can't see this with your naked eye. You have to use your analysis techniques in order to do that, right? So I caught it in a different spectrum here, and here you can actually, it's more of a heat spectrum, right? So you can pretty much, you're starting to see a little bit more um, uh, of a halo around this thing, just a little bit. And the great thing about this shot is they use night vision camera, right? Some a monocular of some sort, and they were able to catch this as it flew by, and that's what caught my attention. Now I'm gonna show you the actual plane that was behind this, and it's gonna be in a different spectrum. But I wanted to show you that here's the little plane. It was actually behind it, and it was actually had two little small UFO crafts behind it. It's kind of hard to tell, but I'll throw out the original video here shortly after this podcast, so you guys can see it. I'm going to back it up just a little bit so you can see that there is two small little orbs around this around this airplane as it's flying. So and the only way you can see it is with this spectrum, right? This is going to be the only way to see it. And there it is, right? There's the UFOs as they went by. Now, right there, you can actually see the electromagnetic fields around this thing as it's going, right? As strange as that is, that was actually a great catch, right? Whoever got that, and it blew me away when I first saw it. So I had to break it down. That's just me. I had to break it down for you guys because I knew before I threw it out there, I got to make sure that I know what I'm seeing, right? And this is exactly what you guys are seeing, right? It Whatever it was, it flew in a formation next to another one, and there was an actual jet behind it, which kind of throws me to Big Brother, right? They're always watching, and they were following this thing, right? So why were they following? Are we ever going to hear about it? Probably not. But we do know that these little guys are the pilots that are inside of these things, right? So they don't fly themselves, right? That is not what's going to happen, right? These things are going to be inside of these UFO craft, right? And I wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. I got one more video to show you real quick before I leave you, and this is going to be, you have to really look at this, right? When I first saw this video, this was just put out 2 days ago. It looks like a water tower. but it freaked out this person so bad that I hate it because they didn't record long enough. Of course, we hate that crap, but this is what you see.
That's some scary shit. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
All right, see that? Okay, now it was they didn't record long enough, and that's what kind of pissed me off about this one a little bit. But it's still a great video at that. But if you notice, like a little bit of the ways as it's going, um, you can actually see the movement of it as it goes through the trees, right? And you can see the movement that it moves other than the camera, right? So you have to really just concentrate on the craft, but then concentrate on the trees too. Look at the craft and look at the trees. See how it moved right there? It's moving. So it's not a it's not a water tower, man. To get that shot right there, you see right there? It's moving. You could see it moving. Wow, right there. So and that is an amazing these things are getting closer and closer and closer to us, right? To humans. It's like they don't give a crap anymore. 'Cause you know what? If I'm gonna land, I'm gonna freaking land. You know what I mean? It is what it is. What happened to those people in where was it in Las Vegas last year? You know, the Angel family, where that thing just slammed right into their yard, right? And these freaking 6 foot to 8 foot tall extraterrestrials walked out. They were as tall as their tractors. You know, you could see their heads in the mirrors. That's how tall these things were, right? So why not these things not, land and just say, you know what? I don't care. They already know we're here anyway, right? Why not? Why not, right? That's that's basically what our thinking would be. But as you can tell, that's foggy, and whatever it was, it spooked these guys because when they saw it, they just didn't want to hang around to be taken or to see see what was going to happen next. Now, if it was probably you and me, we would have probably stuck around there just a little bit just to see this thing if it would land or not, right? That would just be me. Hey, that's me, because I would want to take more footage and film of this. Now, this stuff scares the crap out of people. It does scare people, and a lot of trolls are out there that will shoot you down and shoot as many people down as possible because they are scared of these things to exist, right? They don't want these things to exist because it just throws a different ball game out there for everybody else, right? And it just gives them something deeper to think about. And there's just no difference to it. These things are real. They exist. We see them every day. Of course, now they're starting to dissect them in different kinds of ways with the Nazca, and then of course they've been here through since history. We've been following these things. Contact, through history of mankind has been around with these things, right? There's just no doubt about it that these things do exist, and if they do contact you daily without hurting you, that's okay. That means they like you of some sort. Um, and let's just hope they don't hurt people. Like I've heard of some that they have, but I still caution people to keep your distance. And know that you are in control, right? Make sure that you are in control of these things, that they are not in control of you. And that way, you don't have to worry about them taking you and erasing your memory and things like that, right? Because you don't want to go through that. It's just it's hard to understand, right? Once your mind starts breaking these things down, and then you try to get the people to understand you, and they don't, because they don't understand exactly what happened to you, right? Until you talk to people like myself, or even other people that have been in the same situation as you. And that's why we have these groups out there, right? That have learned to talk and contact each other when something similar has happened. And I always say that, just make sure you notate everything down, write everything down. Even if you're doing a C5, write it down, have somebody film it, don't have them sit down when they're with you. Just have somebody film it, and then somebody take notes while the other person actually does the CE5 if you want to do that, and record all the data. That's the best way to do it, because if you have three people trying to do the same thing, and everybody's trying to film and all kinds of shit everywhere, you're not going to be able to, right? You're going to get some crappy ass stuff. And just think about it. That's exactly what's going to happen, right? So if you're going to do it in a group, a CE5, I would say, get one person to film. That's it. That's their job. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to be there to be a part of the, or the meditation. They're not going to be part of any of that. They're just going to film. And the other people can take pictures, or whoever's not going to be involved can actually log everything down. That way you can have a nice, some data. And that's what you need, is data too, when you contact these things. If you want to, you don't have to, but I'm just giving you the information as it comes in. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Not very long. Let's see, 30 minutes. Not too bad. I usually do an hour, but it's okay. I don't want to bore you guys. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the information I gave you today. Don't forget to watch the middle. It's there on Fossil TV. It's for free. Download the app on Roku, Apple, and everywhere. You can your Amazon Fire Sticks. You can download the app. It's free, and watch the films, man. They're just they're very educational, and that's what I'm going to say. They're very educational for people. And if you want people to understand what you're going through, show them those films, and it's free. So that way they can understand where you're at, right? In that situation, if you are going through it. And if you have any difficult time, just dealing with it, give me a call, send me an instant message. I'll be glad to talk to you, and talk about it, and just kind of help you as much as I can. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. Don't forget, catch the Bass podcast too, man. Audio, listen to the audio. All right, guys, stay warm. Have a good day. And like I said, it's the weekend. You ain't got nothing to do. Watch some movies, eat some popcorn, and just chill out, stay home, watch some foosball tomorrow or tonight, right? And that way you can enjoy it. Have a good time. Hope you guys enjoyed everything. Have a good one. We'll see you later.
And Major Hector Quintanilla is now the chief of Project Blue Book. Major Quintanilla, what are the objectives of Project Blue Book?
As I'm standing there, I kind of, it's a very hard feeling to describe. Skinny arms, skinny legs, but I could only see about half of this thing.
It was just an eye-opening experience. There was a ship coming over the house.
It was like a white light sort of thing that we saw. It was coming out of a cloud.